Assalamualaikum, hello Phenomite. Tonight, you're going to eat something. Maybe you'll heat it up. Maybe you'll throw it in a pan. Maybe you'll just pull it out of the microwave. Wait 90 seconds and call it dinner. And you will not once think about what you're doing. But here's what's actually happening. Every time you apply heat to food before putting it in your body, you are participating in the single most transformative behavioral shift in the history of the human species. More significant than tools, more significant than language, possibly more significant than anything else our ancestors ever did. Cooking did not just change what humans ate. Cooking changed what humans became. And the story of how it happened, and what it cost us, and what it gave us is stranger and more intimate than almost anything you've read in a history book. Let's start with a number, 1,200. That is the approximate caloric cost of running the human brain per day. Your brain is roughly 2% of your body weight, but it consumes approximately 20% of your total energy. It is, calorie for calorie, the most expensive organ in the known animal kingdom. No other primate comes close. A chimpanzee's brain consumes around 8 to 9% of its total energy. Ours consumes more than double that, which raises an immediate and uncomfortable question. How did we pay for it? Because energy doesn't appear from nowhere. Every calorie your brain burns has to come from somewhere. And in a world without grocery stores, without agriculture, without the ability to stockpile food across seasons getting enough calories to run a brain this size, every single day, without fail, was a genuine survival challenge. The answer, proposed by Harvard primatologist Richard Wrangham in his landmark 2009 book and supported by 2 decades of subsequent research, is fire. Specifically, cooking. Here's the mechanism, and it's more elegant than you might expect. Raw food is hard to digest. Not impossible, obviously. Plenty of animals eat nothing but raw food and survive just fine. But hard. The process of breaking down raw plant fiber, raw protein, raw fat requires enormous muscular effort from your digestive system and a long transit time through your gut. Your body has to work hard to extract calories from raw food, and the work itself costs energy. So the net caloric yield, the actual energy available to your body after the cost of digestion, is lower than the raw number suggests. Cooking changes this equation fundamentally. Heat breaks down the cellular walls of plant matter. It denatures proteins, making them dramatically easier for digestive enzymes to process. It gelatinizes starches, converting them from a form that's difficult to absorb into a form that floods your bloodstream with glucose almost immediately. It kills pathogens that would otherwise make you sick, reducing the energy cost of fighting infection. The result? Cooked food delivers significantly more usable energy than the same food eaten raw at a lower digestive cost. Wrangham and his colleagues calculated that cooking increases the caloric yield of meat by roughly 30 to 40%. For starchy foods like tubers and grains, the increase can be even higher. This sounds like a nutritional detail. It is not. It is the engine of human evolution. Because here's what happened when our ancestors started getting more calories from the same amount of food. They didn't just get fatter, they got restructured. The human digestive system is, by primate standards, remarkably small. Our intestines are roughly 60% shorter than you would predict for an ape of our body size. Our stomachs are smaller. Our colons are smaller. We have far less of the fermentation capacity that other primates use to extract calories from raw plant matter. For decades, this was considered a puzzle. How could humans, supposedly the most sophisticated primates, have a less capable digestive system than a gorilla? Wrangham's cooking hypothesis resolves it. Our digestive systems shrank because they didn't need to be large anymore. Cooking was doing the pre-processing work externally. The gut could afford to downsize. And here's where it gets profound. The gut and the brain are in direct competition for energy. They are both metabolically expensive. They are both fighting for the same limited caloric budget. When the gut shrank, that energy was freed up. And evolution, over hundreds of thousands of years, redirected it into the brain. The expensive tissue hypothesis, proposed by Leslie Aiello and Peter Wheeler in 1995, formalized this idea. Reduced gut size and expanded brain size appear together in the fossil record in the same species at roughly the same time. The transition correlates with the earliest strong evidence of controlled fire use. Cooking didn't just feed our brains. Cooking may have physically built them. Hold on! Before we continue, you don't want to miss our next mind-blowing video. Why humans cry emotional tears. No other animal does this. You'll seriously regret missing this one. Smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now because that exclusive video drops the second this one hits 1,000 views. Don't be the last one to know. Now, back to how cooking changed us forever. But the changes didn't stop at brain size. Cooking also the human face. Raw food requires serious chewing power. If you've ever eaten truly raw, unprocessed food, raw tubers, raw meat, raw fibrous plants, you know that your jaw has to work hard. Really hard. For a long time. Our pre-cooking ancestors had much larger jaw muscles, heavier jaw bones, and bigger teeth than modern humans. The fossil record is clear on this. Earlier hominin species, like Homo habilis and Australopithecus, had massive, grinding molars designed for processing tough, raw plant matter. Powerful jaw structures that required robust skull architecture to support them. As cooking became central to the human diet, these structures reduced. The jaw got smaller, the teeth got smaller, the skull could be built differently. Less architecture devoted to supporting massive jaw muscles, more architecture devoted to housing a larger brain. The human forehead, that distinctive vertical slope that sets us apart from every other primate, is partly a result of cooking. Our flat faces, our small teeth, our relatively weak jaws. These are the anatomical signatures of a species that outsourced the hard work of food processing to fire. You are, in a very literal sense, shaped by cooking. The face looking back at you in the mirror is a cooking face. Now here's the part that almost no one talks about. Cooking didn't just change human biology. It changed human society. Think about what cooking requires. It requires fire, which must be maintained and protected. It requires time. You cannot rush the cooking process. It requires the food to be stationary in one place for an extended period, and it requires that someone stay with it. For the first time in evolutionary history, hominins had a reason to stay in one place for an extended period every single day. To gather, to wait together, to be physically present with each other without the immediate pressure of hunting or foraging or fleeing. The hearth, the cooking fire, became the first fixed social space in human history anthropologists. Richard Wrangham argues that this created an entirely new set of social pressures. When food is cooking, it is vulnerable. It can be stolen. And in early human groups, food theft was a genuine and serious problem. The evidence suggests that cooking may have been one of the driving forces behind the formation of pair bonds, what we now call monogamous relationships. A male who was out hunting all day needed to trust that when he returned, the food his partner had been preparing would not have been taken. A female who was tending a fire all day needed protection from other males who might steal both the food and her. The cooking fire created the conditions under which partnership became not just emotionally desirable, but practically necessary. The family unit, in the most basic sense of two adults coordinating resources and labor together, may be, at its origin, a response to the problem of food security around a shared fire. But there's one more layer to this story, one that connects most directly to you. Cooking required planning. Not complex planning in the modern sense, but planning nonetheless. You have to know, before you start, that you will need fire. You have to have gathered fuel. You have to have the food ready. You have to anticipate the future state of hunger and prepare for it before it arrives. This is called prospective cognition, the ability to mentally simulate a future state and take present action to address it. And it is Cognitive scientists increasingly argue one of the most distinctive and powerful features of the human mind. Most animals live almost entirely in the present. They respond to current stimuli. Hunger triggers foraging. Threat triggers flight. They do not, in any meaningful sense, prepare for tomorrow. Cooking requires tomorrow thinking. Every time an early human gathered wood before they were cold, or prepared food before they were hungry, or preserved embers before the fire went out, they were exercising a cognitive capacity that most of the animal kingdom simply does not have. And like any capacity, it's strengthened with use. The daily practice of cooking, repeated hundreds of thousands of times across hundreds of thousands of years, may have been one of the cognitive training grounds where the human capacity for forward planning, for delayed gratification, for imagining and preparing for future states was developed and refined. The brain that can plan a meal is not so different from the brain that can plan a migration, a harvest, a civilization. It starts with fire. It starts with food. It starts with the small, daily act of deciding to prepare for something that hasn't happened yet. So tonight, when you heat something up and eat it without thinking, pause for just a moment. That microwave, that stove, that grill, they are the latest iterations of a technology that is at least 1 million years old. A technology that shrank your gut, expanded your brain, shaped your face, created your family, and trained your mind to think about tomorrow. You didn't just inherit cooking from your ancestors. In a very real sense, cooking made you. Every thought you've ever had, every plan you've ever made, every relationship you've ever built, all of it runs on energy that your ancestors learned, one fire at a time.